All right, I'm just gonna go out here and check Rumble.
Well, that
Okay,
was
I think
fun.
it looks like we might be live on the. Oh, I see people are on Rumble. Hello, is it Kelly is out there, and
Crying.
so yeah, this is really cool. So before we get started into all this stuff, I just want to, I hate to say this, but the death of Diane Keaton I felt it more than
Yeah.
for Charlie Kirk. For Charlie Kirk, it was more like, okay, so watching that on there, and then it turned into a John F. Kennedy, saga. Was he here? Wasn't he there? And all this other stuff. But I guess Diane Keaton has, and this is for the people that followed her. Oh, she was older. She's been sick for like the last month, is what I'm reading, and there are some things where she's just talking to her golden retriever and telling her how much she had to leave all her animals behind, right? Well, she chose to when she died yesterday. But
Yeah.
man, I'm telling you that I loved her movies. That's all I could say. There were the hopeless romantic movies.
You know, that's if that's what you liked. I can't picture the name. You said
Oh,
Diane Keaton.
Keaton. Here, let me show you. I've got something up here. I
Is
just want
that
to show
Michael
everybody.
Keaton's like mother
You
or
know,
something?
it's not. And actually, a lot
No.
of people
Okay.
had thought that at one time, but this is her. And
Okay.
she's
Uh,
she was all about she was in The Godfather.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. She was the
and
wife.
she
She was
was the
Michael
wife.
Corleone's. She was Michael Corleone's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, let's see here.
Corleone.
There's a lot of people that are going to miss her. That's for sure. I think she was one of the few lights in Hollywood. She never married, but she did hopeless romantic and stuff like that. But she just played the game out there. But yeah, I was kind of taken back by that, even watching the Cubs. So we're in the middle of watching the Cubs lose their ass, and let's come back to us here. And all of a sudden, my husband looks down at his phone and says, "An actress died." And I said, "Who?" And he goes, "Diane Keaton." I looked at it and I'm like, "No, that's got to be made up. It's on Facebook. It's not true." I didn't want to believe it. I mean, she was 79. You would think she was like 59, but anyways, that's for the older people. She did a lot of movies with Jack Nicholson,
Yeah.
which he's not doing good either. All that whole generation is on their way out. He has dementia along with
Mhm.
everybody else, and you
Yep.
know,
It makes you wonder if they're getting taken out and their legacy is living on with, because we know some of them, like you said, not all of them are. Very very slim majority of them were good. Especially the elite ones, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So Buck, I kind of we can kind of get into the spiritual things, and anybody in the chats out there that want to jump in, I'm going to go back over to Rumble there and check that one out. Just see where that's at, and let's see if I can go live on here. I think we are live. I hope we are live out on Rumble.
I
I've made
think
some
so. Looks like we
time
are.
changes. Pardon?
We are.
Okay, good. Good. I made some time changes and it may have screwed up something. So it was supposed to be a morning show, but then I remembered down here in the Gulf Shores, which I've got my t-shirt on, small town, big whatever it says beach. So we're
Yeah.
down by the ocean and they have their shrimp fest. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of
There's
fun.
Bubba Gump there.
Pardon?
Bubba Gump shrimp.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, there was
Yeah,
a restaurant there named Bubba, and some
yeah.
lady was telling me that her daughter works at Bubba, and I'm just cracking up.
I mean, yeah, right in the movie, he talked about all kinds of shrimp. So
Yeah.
it's,
All
it's
right. So
yeah.
let's kind of get into this. I want to put Scott's up here. Hey, Scott, how you doing? Leah's out there. Sunray, Alley Cat, how you doing? So why did I decide to talk about? What are we going to talk about?
We were going to talk
um,
about the Schumann residence and
yeah.
time travel slash deja vu Mandela effect, right?
Yeah, the Mandela effect. So I was thinking and really thinking about a lot of things. So the Mandela effect was basically things that have changed. There's always like they call it a glitch in time. So let's say Buck, I know that you're much younger than me, but the great examples out there is the Monopoly guy where did he have a Monaco or did he not have one? Those type of things, they basically your generation may have never seen it and I've seen it. I could swear by it. And it's our memory. And so our the people that have seen these things, because in the 1990s everything was repetitive. If you liked the TV show, you saw it over and over and over. That's part of the programming. You saw it 5 days a week. You came home to watch something, every single day at the same time. And so then we get into the year 2000. It's not quite like that as much. If there's a series that you like, there's an episode out there that maybe goes 10. Uh, but I really think a lot of the programming was done in the 90s, and for good reason that they did this. And then there had to be a reset, with certain things. And so if you go back and you try to find the data or anything else like that, it's going to be what is currently is happening now. So the people out there are thinking, shit, my memory's bad. No, your memory's not bad. You're not crazy. And so what really got me onto this path is I started to see a lot of happening out there with the Schumann resonance. And, there's this lady out on Facebook. I know you've got some things you want to show, Buck. She actually
Yeah,
says that,
I got some charts that I had downloaded previously on the ways to actually read the chart. Um, so I can always send them to you, and you could probably post them later on Telegram if you want. But there are ways. If you want me to share screen now, I could do that.
no, let's hold off on that. I want to address
Okay.
Scott real quickly here because Scott brought up a really good point about deja vu. And this is my theory, if anybody else has one out there about it. So deja vu just means that you're catching up to something that happened already happened, and then boom, there it is. It's kind of like, oh, didn't I have this conversation with you already, that type of thing. But now we just kind of caught up. The timelines have basically caught up and maybe have merged. So I'm doing my own research one day, bored out of my brain. I start thinking about Akashic records, Mandela effect, the Schumann resonance. It's all about vibration and energy, time travel, all this stuff. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about the Akashic record. So if there was a Mandela effect and there was a glitch in time, does the Akashic records change? And so I go into my records and I'm looking at this, and no, it's something that's added. You can change records. You can always change your own personal records if it's kind of current in the present. But if we're talking about stuff that happened 60s or 70s, the year 1960, 70, or 80 or stuff like that, it's something that has to be added on to the energies, right? So I started looking at this and going, okay, everybody's thinking time is really speeding up. Is it really speeding up, or was it stalled? I have this theory, and then I've actually found some documentation out there right around up to the year of 1999. I think they were done programming, most of the people, through television. Basically what I'm saying is a lot of this was done through television, and we were guinea pigs for a lot of this work, and then they kind of took it to the next level. And that's why I'm kind of saying, like going back to Scott, where he's saying, well, I'm having a lot of deja vu, so he's catching up to a lot of things in time right now. And so let's just see what I have out here. And I found that back a couple of years back, there were a lot of people out there that were putting these pieces together. I guess I was a little bit late to the show here with thinking, why am I just talking about the Akashic records? Other people over here are talking about the Schumann resonance, and other people are talking about the Mandela effect and the looking glass and all this other stuff. It's all, if you wanted to take it and merge it all into one, what does that do to the human beings and the psyche? Because it's all energy, it's all frequency, and everything is changing. Are you with me, Buck?
Yep.
All right. So I'm trying to find an article that I had out here, and let's see what I've got out here. So there's a lot of people that have talked about. And if you want to kind of look at it as like another thing that people also talk about in research is the quantum healing, and it's influenced by a lot of things. But overall, where I'm going with this is, I honestly do believe we poo-poo science all the time. Science hasn't quite been able to explain the spirituality, and they, it just depends on who you're actually listening to. But I think at this time they are starting to merge into the science. People are starting to merge into the spirituality, that there's something there. There is really something there. And so what has actually happened from the year 2000 until current right now, with the energies and everything like that. And a lot of people are saying, oh God, it's just speeding up. Is it really speeding up, or are we catching up? What do you think, Buck?
I think it's probably a combination of both. You know, between the planet alignments and right, we're in Aquarius. See, um, so yeah, I think it's just conscious awareness too. People waking up and um, the light codes that are coming in from the sun. We're getting a lot of solar flares, and when they got corona holes that are facing the earth are I can't think of the word it is right now, but I did, what is the app? What protects us from the solar rays and solar wind? I think it's the ionosphere, when just it's getting blown away. So that's how much solar energy we're having.
Yeah.
But of course, now with the government shut down, we don't know what's going on.
Well, if you notice, I mean, I'm going to do a little caveat, but I want to pull us back into this. So I don't want to stray too far from where I'm going with this. So since the government shut down, a lot of people are out there saying they're not seeing the skies being sprayed. They're seeing bluer skies. And I'm noticing it too, especially down here. And there's only a few places that they say. So my theory was, it wasn't when the government shut down, is when, what's his name? Pete Hessick went to all the generals and said, we're not going to have any more of whatever. He basically told them, we're going to stop this. A lot of them basically left, basically resigned, or basically got fired. And I think that may have something to do with them spraying. And if you guys want to put it in the comment there, if you're saying, oh my God, I'm noticing blue skies, it is beautiful down here. The weather is really great. But so I want to go back to the merging of the multiple timelines that I'm talking about. If you kind of want to look at it as like the whole matrix thing, everything's been very chaotic, for, I don't know, since 2016. But what I actually found out, that there was a Palladian message out there that came with this, and I'm going to read this to you guys. I did not come up with this, and it says, so today I'm playing with the friends on my phone. I look at time, and it says 9/11. I finally asked my this is an Akashic page. I finally asked my Akashic team, why do we keep seeing 9/11, a message from you guys, and is it about Genesis? Says, I get the feeling that I'm like, it's okay and finally solved. God's not going to wipe out humanity. Okay, so I finished this game I'm playing. I start a rematch, and I wish I could have taken a screenshot. But of course, I didn't, because it's kind of slow like that sometimes. But I'm kind of slow like that sometimes. But so if you just have to take your word for it, and the letters that have been given in this game is basically, they're basically saying this game it's this is a game, is what they've been playing with. This is kind of like what this article is saying. So there's a lot to take into effect when you are seeing the 111, the 222. And Buck, you're really good with that. You're always pointing that out. And what does that basically mean to you? This means that your conscious level, your spirituality level, you're noticing a lot more things. We're all noticing a lot more things. We're being able to get the Akashic energies, and see what is actually going on without even knowing that we are doing this. This is just, I think, is a huge jump that we have had at this time. And a lot of people in the spiritual community have noticed it, and it's been going on probably for a few years. But I myself, for some reason, I've heard everything was pretty much siloed, right? You heard the Mandela effect, you heard a looking glass, you heard this, you heard that. And I started to say, well, this is all basically, some of these are projects out there, but it's a lot of energies and frequencies, a lot of projects. This has had a big effect on information out there, right? It's just,
Mhm.
how have we moved? Um, how so many people move through all these different changes that we've been going on, and a lot of them, I think, right now is what we're seeing, Buck. The ones that are flipping out there have not been able to accept it. That's the only excuse I have for all these different energies and these different projects and things going on. What do you think?
Yeah, because I try not to go on Facebook because I mostly just post like some of the quotes that I put in my recovery meetings. I'll post on my Facebook page. But of course, when you go in there, you want to see some of your friends, and then you get those, right, the algorithm that they throw in there once in a while, and it's just like you go, let me just see where people's minds are at, and it's just like it's either people bashing Trump, right, and it's like, or it's totally something that they're so negative, right, and it's just like, are these people seeing the same thing I'm seeing? It's just or it's like, and it's even friends, right? Families. That's where it's like this whole like NPC thing is like, could it's got to be real because some of these people, it makes you the way they act. It just makes you. It's like they just they can't have a soul. You know.
No, they've got it sold. It's just that I honestly do. There might be some out there that don't have a soul. I can't say that they all do, because you're right. There are some that are really, really bad, dark and stuff like that. But I just think that a lot of them, they're not. So I had a conversation with one of my friends that I went to the beach with today, and we both are from Chicagoland area. Okay, and what we were discussing is we can't believe that they won't allow ICE in to protect the people, and people that actually live there are asking and begging for ICE to come there. And then you got the ones that are fighting. And I said, it's the politicians that are fighting it, because that's what they do. Because, they basically have taken everybody and made them really think like, well, who is this guy to come in from a federal perspective and tell the state what to do? And those are the people that I have to say that don't know how to think for themselves. And there's a lot of them out there like that. And I just, it's not up to us to wake them up or, hope that their level of consciousness rises or anything like that. But there's a lot of it. And I don't know, what the outcome is going to be for any of them at this point. But I just know that if there are all these different energies that we have gone through from 2000 up into 2025, and we are well aware of it. And I'm just basically taking it and trying to put it all together and saying, okay, all right, so I can access the Akashic records if I ask the question in a specific way. But if I then say to it, what about the Mandela effect? How did that come in, and how did that make a shift for the particular energies or the frequencies or whatever it might be? And I have to really sit and be quiet to understand, to try to get that information. And the only thing that I keep getting when I do this type of thing is that if you look at it from as a computer, if we are all like the matrix right now, there's so much information that's flying around out there. If you think about the matrix, and it's just like flowing and flowing and flowing and stuff like that, I actually do believe that we are creating these records, or we're creating, it's not something that's just going to basically go away. Some people will skip a timeline, some people jump timelines, it's all going to depend on the level of the perspective and the consciousness of each individual.
Yep, and pretty much, I believe what our soul contract signed up for, whether we want like it or not. It's like, you know, I, yeah,
I don't know
because
for I don't know, and you guys tell me out there, let me know if I'm wrong on this. And I always push back on our contract. Our contract was for us to come here and experience as much as we can. Were we even able to know all the things that were already planted in the planet Earth, and what to experience, and what effect it was going to have on us? I don't know if that was going to be part of the contract. The part of the contract was for us to experience our body, right? Because we're so, when we die, our soul leaves this body, leaves it behind, and we go and we either find another body or we do something else. It's at that time. But I honestly think that this physical body of having us experience all the different things here there on the planet. But one thing that nobody's talking about is how we are not enjoying nature. we're more into the AI, the technology. We're not reaping the benefits. God didn't just give us all these natures and animals and everything else. And I think that's one of the key things that we're missing. I could be totally wrong on that, but just like people out there say you can heal from natural things out there. You don't need the pharmaceutical stuff, but no one ever takes it any. Some people take it. I shouldn't say no one. There are people out there that will take it to the level that they have a solution for you with Mother Nature's whatever it might be to heal the body, and we can heal the body. I think we're moving towards that, Buck. I honestly do believe that. And a lot of people want to believe about the med beds and everything else. Like we can manifest. It all depends on our reality. And this is going to take me back to the Mandela effect. What is the reality where everybody has been affected by this Mandela effect? And I honestly think, and there's other parts to this too. It's not just that, but it all depends on what your reality and your beliefs are at this time moving forward.
Yep. Yeah. It's always that's why it's always important to be positive.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just I kind of went a little bit deep, which I normally do. I'm trying to pull in all the different energies and some of the things that have happened to us for the last 25 years. So let's talk about the Schumann resonance. I know you have some things. If you want me to bring it up, I think you could be fine with doing that. I think you know how to share on your end. But there's a lot that's happened.
I could probably just add it to the comments too, because let's see. Can I add it to the comments?
If you want to put it in there's a notes over there. There's a notes that you can add it. I can always open it up. Or there's a private
them downloaded. I don't know if I can attach them to here on YouTube, right? Because they're downloaded pictures. So I guess I'll just present if that's fine.
Yeah, you know how to do it. As soon as I see it, I'll put
it up. I want to pull up the page that I want first. Okay, and I guess present, right?
Yeah.
Let me just share screen instead. All right, so I'll share this one first.
It'll be there in a minute. It says. Hold on. It says before presenting the screen, remove the other media stream on the. Oh.
Really? Okay.
I think. Wait, I think I got. Hold on. Hold on, Buck. For some,
no problem.
This is acting weird.
I can try.
I hate Chrome.
Let me see if I could just.
I got it. All right, try to get. Oh, here it is. All right.
Yep. So that's what I was the first one. Now I gotta go. I think I gotta go. Where'd I go now? I think I lost my page. Hold on. Sorry. Let me go share screen again. Windows. And where was that file? I think I lost it. Hold on. I gotta pull it up again.
All right. While you're doing that, just take your time, Buck. I'm going to talk to Rumble out there. There's a couple of Rumble rants from MS Unicorn. It says, or Miss Unicorn, I'm experiencing biochemic brand 12 tissue salts, homeopathic. It's working for my current ailments, and it has existed for 3 years. That's great. Hasn't Schumann been froze for a few days? If you can't find that, I can go out to Facebook, and they were saying there was a blackout, which I've never heard before with the Schumann resonance. You guys see that one?
Okay.
Oh, here, Buck, I see it.
Okay, so I got this one, right? So this one tells you, I don't know how good you can see it on here or not, or if I can zoom in. Because I'm trying to figure out.
Down below there, Buck, you see there's down below there's an arrow going in both directions in the far corner. It's all the way over by where Arnie Layton's name is. Yeah, can you see that?
Yeah, it's not this one here, but it's not. Let me see. All right.
So I could do
I,
I could do
I
it on
can't.
my end.
Yeah, let me just. I'll just attach it to the chat here. Sorry, everyone. Let me just stop sharing. Present images and downloads. So
Okay.
this. Go ahead. It's pretty much
So
self-explanatory, that one.
okay, so it's been basically what are they saying here? So let me see if I can find any of the ones. I'm not sure if I bookmarked them off, but there was some lady out on Facebook. She just posted it. She said there was a blackout, and I said, "How could there be a blackout?" And she's got 1 million views.
Blackout usually means a time jump, if or this it could be a time jump or the system's down, but most of the time it's most likely a time jump.
Oh, is that what that means?
I believe so. Yes, from the people that I've watched.
All right. Well, so we just went through a time jump then.
But this chart right here tells you the this it says here, right, this human resonance has been scientifically proven to impact the human brain waves. Louis B. Hainsworth was among the first to suggest that human health is linked to the Schumann ELF, which is extremely low frequencies. The Schumann resonance is a tuning fork for life. It heals, regenerates, and it uplifts. And it also gives you, the light codes right on the chart. It tells you like what this most likely the ascension symptoms you would be feeling when the chart, uh, when the light codes do come in. So I'm not sure
Okay.
how good of if they can see that on the screen because I don't have the video up.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, but if I think just you explaining it. So, all right. So let me just kind of get back to this here. I am not an expert in the Schumann resonance, and like I said, I've usually well, Buck has these charts out there. Buck, is this current? This chart that you're showing us as of
This is just
today?
a breakdown of the reading of how to read the chart. There's other ones that I have in here. Let me see if I could find them. But yeah, there's I could probably just send them to your email, and you can have them for yourself too. But yeah, there's that one, and there's like four other ones.
Okay. So while you're sending it over, I want to jump back to some information I actually found. Like I was saying, I just found it again. So specific theory ties to the events of the Y2K and CERN experiment. Do you guys remember that, where everybody basically was saying, "Oh my God, it's gonna get the year 2000," and the computers weren't set up, which was bullshit because I was a computer programmer at that time. And believe you me, I had to work New Year's Day on that to make sure the computers were up and running. But anyways, so the experiment is suggesting there was an advanced being, and what they're talking about, the Palladians are always tied to this. It created multiple timelines. It basically copied to an avert catastrophes. They basically were merging that caused that Mandela-like inconsistencies, such as a deja vu, lost items reappearing, or collective memory fog, that kind of thing. The Akashic records basically was like a navigational tool. It was and so if you took your at that time, if you were, and I was meditating and doing a lot of reading and stuff like that, and I was trying to understand the chosen timelines that they were picking for us. So these were the Palladians that were, I think, came into play. There was like almost they were saying they're resolving unfinished business. Like you said, like your soul contract, that you kind of go through. Your soul contract that maybe at one time, Buck, you chose less chaos and to align with different certain reality. I guess it does. Some parts of this does come in play to your contract, but we don't remember what the contract actually is. So,
Mhm.
so what basically the Mandela effect is a ripple was at that time in 1999 was either a ripple or they're referring to it as a beta test for broader awakening with the records at that time is and basically all that information at that time they were testing us out. It was almost like they archived a lot of that information away, so it's in the records. And so people went into glitches of consciousness and an expansion at that time. If you guys remember 1999, and I think it did even go beyond that too. But there's so the question is, could the Akashic records have been manipulated at that time? Meaning the Mandela effect aren't changes to the records, but they're shifts in which part of them we were experiencing. And I think it depends on each individual. It's like switching a browser tabs, right? You go from one tab to the next tab to the next tab. And then all of a sudden you get through your tabs and you're just going to merge into a timeline. I truly believe that we integrated and then we lost a lot of that. A lot of it was erased. Some people with older records as myself, because I've been on this, been down here a little bit longer than other people have been, like, in reference to Buckshot. But there were these forces. I always use the term forces in Akashic records. These forces that were actually happening, or people were meddling, if you want to call it that way. Some of them may have even tried to been manipulating the records, through various. How do I put this? If you have a certain memory of something and you're really stuck on that particular memory, but then all of a sudden you're seeing something of your reality, like wait a second, that Monopoly guy did have, he did have that one glass and a monocle in his eye, and now all of a sudden he's not, and you're just like, what's going on here? Somebody was either overwriting something, or the veil between like older people and the younger people and the collective perspective was changing at that particular time. And why did they always do it in the 80s and 90s? That's the big question here. What was so pertinent that they knew that they could do this to these people in that timeline? And then, of course, you get into, we've shifted into the year 2000. And now these are all anomalies. These are like almost, people will say, well, I don't know if I really remember, because now they're older people. Maybe he didn't have one. Maybe I always thought he did, because that British looking guy probably should have had one. It was that type of thing. And I truly believe, Buck, that it was a huge test that was being done to us. But what about now? What if we'd say, okay, all that is done. What is actually going on right now? Are the energies speeding up? Is it true that they're actually speeding up, or are we catching up? That seems to be my big question here.
Yeah, that is a good question. Like I think I said it earlier. I think it's both. Because we're catching up. So because we're catching up, it's it's happening faster. We're able to manifest it faster. I mean, there's some things we still got to work through, but as it takes a collective, right? We're all connected, whether we like it or not. People that some of us dislike us. Unfortunately, we're still connected to them. With in one form or another. So yeah, but I think because more people are waking up, and that's why time seems to be going faster.
But it's not really going faster though. So
No, it just feels like it is.
time is an illusion, right? It's just an
Yeah,
illusion. It's just
in the end, yeah.
part of all that. Yeah, that's perfect, Buck. And see, I know you know a lot of this stuff, and that's why I love kind of talking about it, explaining it a little bit, and then letting you speak on it, because I know that you have a lot of information within you, as a lot of us do. But it's just that this isn't the conversation that would come up at dinner time for everybody. But
No,
we really have to understand that we are leaping. This is the year 2025, almost going into 2026. And what I'm hearing is 2027 is going to be very pivotal. And I've been saying for the last 6 months that we better really understand who we are in order to be able to handle the energies coming from into 2027 and whatever that might be. What do you think, Buck?
yeah. I mean, I I think here from here on out, every year is going to be pivotal, right? because I think it's just I just have faith that things are gonna come out like a lot of the technology and more energy, more positive energy hitting the earth, and there's gonna be some scary moments, right? Because Earth is you can see there's a lot of earthquakes and volcanoes going off. Um, so that's the only concern, right? But I forgot where I was leading off to go on that one.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think? So that's what you're kind. This is good because it's a good segue into what we actually need to start talking about what's coming up here. So there's a lot of people out there still decoding, which I really don't think that they really need to. It's kind of like I think the veil is so thin right now, and I honestly do believe that everybody's intuition is very heightened, and all I can say to everybody is just believe it. So if you get an inkling of something, yeah, go with it. Just hold it off, observe, don't absorb. And with that, I want to kind of talk a little bit about this. I found a video and it's out on my Rumble page about observing the energies that are out there. And once you actually do, and I'm just going to throw this out to anybody that is paying attention to this. Once you actually do absorb, which I think a lot of the I don't know, I hate labeling these people, but these people on the far left have absorbed a lot, right? And they've absorbed, so they didn't observe but they absorbed, which basically I think is an explanation of why they can't seem to be more in the light like we are. I'm not saying anybody's good or bad at this point. It's just that they're walking around and is a shadow, right? They really don't know themselves. They're being told something on the television time and time again. The only thing that I think that still exists from the repetitive is the mainstream media. That's the only thing that hasn't quite been taken down yet. Why do you think that is, Buck?
Good question, because I really don't know, because that's the one thing that this is taking longer. Because the MK ulturing that's going on, I see a lot of good people that have good hearts, and they just spew the rhetoric of the news, and it's like, and I want to tell them, don't you are you complaining about like the National Guard being in these cities? You don't even live there for one, right? You live in your nice little neighborhood. Your kids can go to a nice school, but not where these people live. So they complain about that, and it's like, and then they complain about the ice, and all you're doing is bringing that negativity back to yourself. Instead of complaining, do something about it. Then donate to, if you want to protest, go protest. But they sit behind their computer and spew negativity, and I don't know why, because all you're gonna do is get negativity back, and then you wonder why you're miserable. So
Yeah,
I don't stay. I try to stay out of the Facebook, right, in the comment section, and it's just I let them dig their own grave.
yeah.
You like they say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it.
Exactly. Buck, can you stop sharing that one document? I think I want to go and try to find something else. I wish I would have saved this
I
one
think
lady's information
I
on
think I
this
did stop.
Schumann
Hold
resonance.
on.
But I
Remove
think
from
I think
Square.
the
Okay.
Schumann resonance is only a small part of everything that is, but the way that they explain it, the way they basically would say, oh, we just did a time jump, and then other people would say, yeah, I've been sleeping, or I'm feeling a lot of body aches, or a lot of different things and stuff like that. And that's okay to gauge it that way, but my real thing is digging deep into the stuff is, what have you noticed about your and it's really got nothing to do, it's more with your heart and your spirituality. Your brain can trip you up and tell you all kinds of things because that's where the ego lives, but that's not really
Mhm.
where I want to go. I just want to know, what has anybody out there, and I saw somebody saying that they already know what their mission is in life, and that's great. But how have you been feeling? Is there been such a big shift through the Schumann resonance that everybody talks about? Because I want to hear from everyone out there. I know that I know that a lot of people out there are hurting right now, and that's what breaks my heart. And how I know that is because I put these short clips out there, and it's all evolving around God, and there's God within us, right? And a lot of people are wanting to look outside of themselves to find the God. And it's not up to me to say to them, if you go within, you could find it. These people open a Bible, they want a scripture, they want to know what's going on. Buck, I can't tell you that every time I put something out there on my YouTube channel and it's a reference to God, like God, please help me, or God, I need this, or God, this or that. It's a prayer. And all the people in the middle of the night, my phone, I don't even keep the phone in my room anymore. It's just going ding, 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 because what do you know what they're writing? Amen, 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 or
Yeah.
God, please help me. There's a lot of people out there that are seeking, and they don't know to basically that they have the answers within them, that we have the God and goddess essences within ourselves.
Yep. That's what That's what Jesus, Yeshua, was trying to teach, that we have the power inside of us. Um, we're a part of God, right? Whatever that is, right? I think God, to me, God is love and God is everything. Because without that, none of us would exist. So that's when we talked about love earlier. I mean, that's why like like today NA, at Sundays are the NA, the NA meetings, and it's more of a 12-step God, and that's what one of the meditation, we read a meditation every before it, and that's what it was talking about. You know, have an open heart and trust, and also something about have a loving God, and that's to me that's what it's about. When I have an open heart um and can show love, I get that love back.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
kind
you
of it's
do.
kind of like that.
Yeah, you do. And it's kind of like I said, that Diane Keaton that passed away, when I read everything. And if it was a very controversial political actor out there, you would see all kinds of mixed messages out there. But when you see one over and over again of, I loved your work, I loved you, this is, just all beautiful, beautiful things said for somebody. It's just that says a lot. When you live to 79 years of age, and then if social media can validate exactly how people felt about you. Not that we need to be validated, but I'm sure that she's always felt the love, because she was just a really good soul. I hope she was a good soul. I don't want to find out later that it was something else, because she's tagged with Hollywood and whatnot. But yeah, so I mean, that's how I feel about it right now. Time will tell with anything. So, if I were to look back at my life, and I can basically tell you that when I was in my 20s and 30s, I had a lot of my ego running me. And I had to really, it wasn't until I lost my father that I said there must be something bigger, better to this life, and there must be more to life, is what I wrote. And I wrote it down on a pad of paper. I was a contractor starting up a new job, and I didn't want to do it. And then I discovered that there's a lot of people out there, and Greg Braden, Wayne Dyer, there was this, Christine Northrup was just starting to come of age. There were so many people out there that were just talking about self-help, they called it at the time, but it was all spirituality. People were talking about chakras and stuff like that. They've been talking about the chakras and spiritual and aura and all that things forever. But what does that mean for us today? I mean, we understand a lot of that, but a lot of people still can't grasp that we are energy, that we are a vibrational and frequency. So when you're misbehaving, and if you're walking around and you're toxic, nobody's going to want to be near you. So what are you going to do? You got to change that. And if you're struggling with something right now, if anybody would like a reading in about 5-10 minutes, please let me know. I'd be glad to do that for you. And yeah, just to see what is actually going on with you. So just want to let some people know that if you're going to ask about somebody outside of yourself, I definitely would need the permission in order to do that. It's not just something that I take very lightly. And if you know that somebody's really, really hurting, and you're close to them, I can get as little as information as that they allowed me to get for you. But I just want everyone to start feeling really good, mentally, physically, spiritually. And if I were to say to you, Buck, you're a walking vibrational man. You're a walking frequency. Yeah, you're nothing but a frequency, dude. And so so somebody would say that to you, then the first thing you would probably do is go into your heart chakra, and basically just say, okay, well, I'm going to share my love for humanity with whoever needs it and needs to feel it. And that's where I think that we're headed to. As much as woo woo bullshit shit that sounds, we're headed that way, because a lot of people now know that this body isn't going to be here forever, and that we will be saying goodbye to their body the closer they get to a certain timeline. And then you have to look back and say, that was I the best human being that I could possibly be?
Yep. That's what it's all about. I think, helping others, that, especially like going into recovery, then people helping me, get my head right. Right. And it's all about giving back. That's why actually I got a kind of a little promotion. They're giving me responsibility of hosting and moderating a Saturday meetings when the staff is overworked. So I'll be volunteering on Saturdays to run a meeting for recovery. So it's going to be something new. I kind of know how to run it because I've been there so long, but it's going to be a little weird. But I'm sure I'll do fine.
Yeah.
You know,
you're gonna do really good, Buck, because I really think that a lot of people are lost in different realities, and we talk about, that's why I'm going to bring it full circle here. The Mandela effect. There was glitches in the timelines and stuff like that, and some people were lost and what have you. But at some point in time, that people, what is the reality? Are people really powerful enough to create their own reality? These are the type of things that, I think that people are going to be asking themselves, sooner or later. Buck, do you think, I've got this weird feeling that there's something big that's going to happen? Do you still think that that's going to happen?
I think a lot of big things are going to happen. It's what section we're going towards?
Pardon?
I said what category we want to go for as far as big, because I think a lot of big things. We got to put a little bit more of I guess a title to it, because I don't know, or title, not title, but you guys are making me blush. Stop it, please.
I'm sitting there going one right after another. Keep making him blush, you guys.
I'm trying not to. I'm trying to think, and I'm seeing all these things that are making me. Oh, I love you guys too. Thank you.
He does not like attention. I know.
No,
I know his.
I fucking hate the attention. Because there's a lot of the meetings I just sit there and I listen. The only time I usually talk is when obviously I get all nervous inside. I'm like, all right, my spirit wants me to talk, so I got to talk. But other than that, I'm mostly there to listen and observe, because I do learn more from listening than I do talking.
No, you don't. This isn't your time. It's just like Arnie out there. It's you and Arnie. It's your time. Sooner or later, I'll be passing the torch to you guys. So let's just talk a little bit about these emotional waves a little bit, and what people are feeling, like just sleep disturbance, fatigue, tiredness. But one of the things I'm really concerned about is the depression. There's a lot of depressed people out there. We can go through and say, okay, the Schumann resonance is basically, maybe lightheadedness. I'm hypersensitive. That full moon. How many people out there blew circuits during that full moon that we just had? I witnessed a lot of people that were unhinged, and you probably did too. Just going out on X or just on the news and stuff like that. There was a video media person from WGN News out of Chicago. And I'm sure WGN News is not going to show this on their own station, but she was probably a 400-pound woman that got body slammed into the ground by ice. She was throwing things at them. And it was so embarrassing. It was so embarrassing to watch this. And a lot of them are women. And I just don't get this. When I started watching Charlie Ward back 6, 7 years ago, he always kept saying, all these women are here coming onto my channel. Where are the guys? When are the guys going to step up? Well, the guys have stepped up, and some of the women, I don't know what has happened to them, but there's an increased anxiety with them. They're irritable. They're basically are just lashing out at people. And then there's that one lady that was running for governor out of California. She's all over the news right now. Katie something or other. Katie Spazomatic. She basically she basically is telling people, hey, you're in my shot. Get the hell out of my shot. What the hell's wrong with you? And it's just like, oh, I want that governor to be running California now. That they and people on Fox News are calling her toxic. We are seeing more than we've ever seen before. That's the veil that I talk about. We're being able to see and decide and know. And I think it's all coming together. And then there's the ones that are going to be really depressed. But if anybody is out there now following us, Buck, and they're depressed, let's put some cards on them and see how we can get them to move out of this. What is depression, Buck?
Well, my to me, depression is not loving yourself, because like I said earlier, it still comes down to you in the end to love yourself, but you could always. So I mean, I don't know the definition off the top of my head, but it's just about stop. To me, it's about feeling sorry for yourself, right?
Well, take the emotional thing out of it, if you will. So when you're depressed, right? It's almost as
Mhm.
is like you're stuck. It's kind of like you've just taken everything and you siloed yourself. Doesn't matter about mom or dad or if I have kids or anybody else. It's all going to be about me, 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 me. That's the ego totally taking over this person, totally taking
Yeah.
over them, and basically saying, "You want to feel safe? Just keep doing what you're doing, and just ignore everybody." And it's all the bullshit stuff that ego does. But the Schumann resonance is basically going back to the Schumann resonance. If we did have a time jump, or if there was like you said, there was a blackout or something like that. If you look at it this way, the Schumann resonance is that it's all about a frequency, that we're all beating at the same frequency, whatever it is. I forgot what it is, 7.32 or something like that, right? And then all of a sudden there's a jump. What happens to these other people that are depressed and they can't feel the heartbeat of the earth, Mother Earth, and where she's going with this? It's basically an energetic shift, and not everybody is on board with that shift. What happens to that? If you want to say, use it as like a Mandela effect, that was almost like it was like a glitch. There was like a glitch within a person, right? And so
Triggered.
what timeline did they end up on? Or are they getting caught up? You know what I'm saying? This is all energy. I'm not talking sci-fi bullshit here. I'm basically saying, when we have all these things happening and all these people are freaking out, and if you don't take time to really go, I hate saying going within, because really you already have everything that you need, but you got to be quiet. You got to be silenced. Go to the beach, follow the vibration of the wave, get back into sync, because they're not in sync.
Nope. And it is a lot of that, like you said, like energy, right? In the cities, they call back in New York, we call them concrete jungles. I don't know what everybody else calls them around, but in New York, we call them concrete jungles for a reason. And that's why when you go on vacation, most of the time you either go to the mountains, right, or you go somewhere nice away from the city, because we are in tune with nature. Right, a lot of the stuff that's out there are you know we have already in our body, right? Kidneys, tomato looks like a heart, right? And it's just the list goes on a lot of the organs that look like fruit or vegetables or something in nature,
Yeah.
you know.
So I think everybody really should, and I'm not following what's going on. I should probably put my phone over here to see what's going on Rumble, because I did ask a question if anybody wants a reading. whether you are teetering on something that you think that you're losing control of yourself, but each and every person take that word control and do something with it. Is ask yourself, am I crazy? Really, because that is a normal question of sanity at some point that you should ask yourself, am I crazy? And just kind of see where you go with that, because that is a question that people ask during their awakening journey. And a lot of people think it's, what is the purpose of my life? Right. That's another way of putting it there too. But okay, let's see what else we have out here. I was going
To
to
have fun and
rumble.
enjoy life and
Pardon?
laugh. To love, live, and laugh. The 3 L's: love, live, and laugh.
All right. All right, let's see here. Let me go to the live chat. Okay. Dakota says, I can't stand going up to New York because of the frequency irritates me.
When I went back to New York for Christmas, I had anxiety driving. And it's like I didn't want to go. I rented a car. I didn't want to drive anywhere.
Yeah. So Ms. Unicorn basically is talking about that at some point that she believes we're all, I believe, I'm going to read exactly what she wrote. I believe we all connect again through the funnel of love. I think that we are all connected, that we are all the same. It's just that we have different perspectives, different qualities, different essences of ourself that we show other people. And I think that a lot of people are starting to see this. And so I kind of want to take this in one more step further and talk about the glitches in the reality again. So there are glitches that are actually happening in dream state. So you go to bed, you go to sleep, and basically you're dreaming, and then all of a sudden, if there's something that's going on here, depends on where you're at, right? It depends on where you travel to. But I'm just going to just put this out there. What do you guys think about, having a glitch during a dream, or maybe even a lucid dream, right? There's a lot of glitches that people talk about through the Mandela effect, but what about through our dreams out there? Have you ever experienced that? Would you know that there was a glitch that was actually happening in the dream state? Wild
I, I
question.
I unfortunately don't remember too many of my dreams. And the ones that I do remember, I don't want to remember. Maybe, so I guess you would call them glitches. Yes.
Yeah, I guess that's a good place to say that.
Right.
Lisa,
It's like, what did I think of this person for? It's like, ooh.
yeah, a lot of people will say, well, now I could take it another step here and talk about that we're actually living in what's the word that I'm actually looking it's for. Oh, it starts. I can't think of it, but anyways, it's almost as if that things have already been planned out. We're living here on Earth, but that there's also happening somewhere else simultaneously. It's synchronized.
Yeah.
We're only experiencing what we want to experience here on Earth, but in another place, our energies are somewhere else. And gosh, what is the term called? Somebody out
I don't
there
know.
help
Where's
me.
Allie? Allie's in here. She knows. Come on, Allie. Parallels. Is that it, Ron? Is that parallel timelines? Yeah.
No, it's more or less like oh gosh, I can't, it's not coming to me, and I can't figure out why I'm getting this huge blank on it. I basically was reading up on this all weekend long.
Parallel
It's
universe? No.
no, it's not parallel universe, but in any case, it's more like simulation.
Okay. Quantum
Is that
simulation? No.
is the simulation
Quantum,
the same as a parallel
quantum
universe?
physics, Allie?
It's a simulation. So if we want to take an effect, because a lot of people out there have been talking about this, there's a lot of big influencers and physics, spiritual people talk about the simulation. It's been happening for the last 25 years. And if that is actually happening, if the simulation is actually happening, why are we feeling the glitches here? Is something being updated somewhere else? I don't know enough about this. Anybody out there who's an expert on this? So it's all data. We're all just data. We're, if you want to look at it that way, we're storing this information and what we're doing. Everything's being recorded. How do you think you can access the Akashic records? How do you think that somebody knows? There's people out there that are very intuitive, very psychic. Where are they getting this information from? They're grabbing it from the ethers. We are just we're okay.
Tuning into
So
that radio, turning into that frequency, that radio signal.
yeah.
It's like with fiber optics. It's like even though you have different equipment on both ends, you got to have the right frequency in order for that fiber light to connect to the other side.
Yeah. Yeah. So Miss Unicorn out there says, I totally believe in the simulation theory. That is a huge theory, and that could be for our next show. And if I don't merge in all these other things that are actually going on, but if you want to look at it that way, what did they talk about in the Matrix? Right? We're basically just data flowing and all that stuff. We can plug, we get plugged and we get unplugged. And so when you get plugged in, you're
right in the
basically
brainstem.
Yeah, right at the brain stem. But what are you plugging into? You're going out to another this is just an avatar, right? We're just an avatar. And so if this is just an avatar, when we unplug, when we go to sleep, can there actually be a glitch? And then the next day we come back. This is wild shit. This is all I could say.
Yep. Some things are, and that's what I think we talked about it earlier. It's like there's gray areas to a lot, right? It's not just black and white. There's gray,
Yeah. And the quantum entanglement, Alley Cat, maybe we could do the show with you on this one, because I've been studying a lot about this quantum entanglement. It's basically everything is happening simultaneously at the same time, but it's also in a simulation. And this just blows my mind. And that's the problem, is that I'm in my mind. I need to, our brain doesn't really do much for any of us and throughout our spirituality. And we really need to take a look at a lot more. I think there's a lot more research, but this quantum entanglement, Allie, and correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but this is where the scientists are now getting involved. They now know that you cannot have a quantum entanglement without science. So you've got the overall quantum entanglement, but then you've got spirituality, and then you've got the science. And those two are now coming at this time for, let's just say 2026. We're going to start hearing more and more about this, where it's all going to start merging together. We're going to need the science with the spirituality. I think this is going to blow everybody's mind in the near future.
Hey, Ronnie, it's fucking science, bro. That's from another show. She'll get that. Yep, it's science. Weird Science. That was a good movie.
Yeah, so like it's kind of like, all right, so if we're talking about we're programming the simulation, it's like, all right, so why would we be programming the simulation, and the simulation is not programming us?
Well, we're breaking it, right?
Let's see here. Ellie Cat has a statement, says there are physics who are having spiritual experiencing, and it's merging the metaphysics to the quantum. You better believe it, because they have they're basically throwing out Newton stuff. They're throwing out Einstein stuff. They're saying this is bigger and better than anything. And I think that there is a YouTube channel out there that basically will tell you that this has been discovered, but every time somebody discovers it, they're not around very long. And I forgot the name of it. It's like it's Besides something is what it's called out there. If you guys, I'll try to find that. And C. Chevelle says the real science, not the Fauci science. Yes, the real science. That's a good point. I hate that term science, because of what we found out. It's been all bullshit, right? But there are some really good scientists out there that we don't even know about at this point. Let me see here. Yeah, the real scientists that are out there, not like that Tyson guy. He's bullshit. So many of them that they put in there to play the roles, like Fauci. No, none of them. Trying to close out some of my windows here. And so I honestly do believe that's where the quantum healing is going to come in and play a big role for everybody, if it hasn't already. All right, so what do you got, Buck?
Not much. I'm just it was C Charvel is actually Christina, and it was her birthday yesterday, so I was wishing her a happy belated birthday.
Happy birthday.
You don't want me singing happy birthday, so
Yeah.
that's Wendy's job, but Christina wasn't on the show the Zoom yesterday for her to sing. But that's okay. Next time we'll get you. Oh, from
Yeah, and
our
happy
Zoom
birthday.
show.
Actually, I think Ronnie's got a birthday coming up, so all the Libras out there, happy birthday, Libras. Let's see here. Libras have been, going through a lot and shifting left and right, and balancing out the scales of, is that the scales of justice? Is that what the Libras are? Do I have that correct sign?
I don't know. Come on, Libras is
Uh,
supposed to know this answer. Help us out.
Ronnie. My birthday is 10/15. Good to see you out there, Ronnie. Any other Libras out there? Congratulations, Buck, on reaching out to the people.
I try. I'm always willing to help if they want help.
Yeah. Yes, so do I. I mean, this is why I kind of do some of these free readings out there if people want them. If I can give 2 minutes to somebody and for them to kind of get a start on the shifting the energies, that's what it's all about. All right, let's see.
Reading. Who wants a reading?
And that's okay if they don't. I think everybody's feeling pretty good out there, from what I can see. Let's see here. They're saying, yeah, Libras are balanced. I think Libras had to learn balance personally. That's like I'm a Pisces and it's two fishes going in the opposite direction. It blows my mind whenever I've seen that. I was like, okay, I'm two fishes. I'm always going in the opposite direction. And it was like, okay, that was so symbolic for me. I don't know what are you, Buck?
I'm an Aquarius, but I need balance though. I needed balance, but I've been pretty good the last few years. I'm still a
So
little unhinged every once in a while.
what is your symbol there for your Aquarius?
It's the squiggly lines like a wave. It's an air sign, but the symbol is the squiggly lines,
Oh yeah.
like a wave.
Yeah. The energies. Then you go out, you go far and wide, but don't come close.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we have out there. Okay, everybody's talking signs out there. Hug Me says service to others. Pisces,
Yep.
yeah. Pisces are it's all about feelings, emotions, and touchy feeling kind of thing like that. And it just, a lot of people didn't think that I was going to be able to do what I was doing in the corporate world, which they were like, yeah, I think of Pac-Man, they're always coming at me like, rah, 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 and I'm like, oh no, I was so meek and, just so sensitive and stuff like that. And that's the other thing too, that I'm starting to see all these college kids, okay, we talk a little bit about Charlie Kirk has got this celebration coming up this Wednesday. and our town is doing it. I'm going to go over there and see what's going on. So it's his birthday, and so they called for all the towns to do it. And there's a lot of people who are against it. And I just want to kind of see. My husband was more interested in seeing what that's all about too. But we're all trying to find. I think he was a godly man. I'll just kind of leave it at that. And but there's just it just comes back around to whatever it is that we believe being of service to others. And so in the colleges, if he went out and he was a service trying to opening the minds of these college students, right, to make them realize that they have been brainwashed in the schools that they went to. Now they've got a lot of other people stepping up and doing the exact same thing, and they're calling them debates that are out there. And it blows my mind how they can't form a really concrete thought. Have you seen these out there, Buck?
Yeah, I used to because I didn't always watch Charlie some of his debates, but sometimes you just happen to scroll and see them, and it's like you're so right. It's like they have no talking points, and then when he the best part about him was he always came back with having them think about it, right? Instead of just spewing out, he would come back, and that's what you had to do. You had to make these people think, but the problem is they can't. It's just the same. It's what they've been taught, what they've been brainwashed with, right? So they
Well,
don't
they've
know any better.
also there's handlers in school that they would tell them how to handle themselves when they're in a debate, and how to stay outside of the framework of the actual question to be, in other words, they're attacking the person without anything concrete, like you said.
Yeah,
So they're not really
and in
getting to
school,
the overall issue.
and in school, you never really could question the teacher, right? Because it was always it's what's in the book, right? And of course, if you ever question the teacher, you're not going to be on their good side because then you're going to make them look bad. And that's the other thing. They taught you not to question anything. Just believe what's in the book, believe what you're being taught, and don't. And so that, and this is where we're at. Some of us were able to break through and not believe. I got by in school because I kind of you kind of knew it was BS. Like, what am I going to learn any of this? They just started taking out the trading schools, right? But yeah, I just did enough to get by and then start work, right? I mean, that's why I don't want Juliana to go to college. I'm hoping
Trade
things will change by then in 2 years.
trade school doesn't necessarily mean what it did back in my day, when it was like, okay, there was shop for guys, or there was, whatever the blue collar people were doing out there. It's more for the women now. And so I actually heard on a radio station that they're basically saying to these kids, you don't have to go to college, you have to learn a trade. Since we're bringing everything back to the United States and we're building all these different companies now, somebody's going to have to learn how to run it, because those trades have been lost. Because when I was a little kid, there was the steel trades, it was all that stuff out of Chicago. I mean, I just remember everybody, that we're building buildings, right? They don't even do that anymore. I think Trump was like the last guy to ever continue to build these, Trump towers and stuff like that. But yeah, so in any case, is that where I basically am seeing is that the level of consciousness with these young kids is they really need to unprogram them or deprogram. How's that?
Yeah, and I think that's what Charlie was kind of doing, going to college campuses where it mattered most. But and I think a lot of these kids are coming in a lot smarter than these newer kids that are coming up a lot smarter than we give them credit for. Not the kids that are in school now, right? The college kids, but
No, they're coming
so
in with confidence. So the
yeah,
difference between like my generation and whatever generation is out there that, is started after 2012, that's headed for the schools, they made them very confident, very sure of themselves. So they would take somebody and then they would basically say, well, this kid is going to be really good, but we have to teach them how to debate. And we have to teach them within the DEI structure of things. Oh,
yeah,
you got to talk about all the bullshit, trans this, trans that, and all that other stuff. Feel sorry for everybody. And it's really and if you think about what Charlie Kirk actually did, is he brought it all back to God. And so if you can't go wrong with that. I think that that made him so strong for a lot of people because, Buck, there's a lot of people that don't believe in God, atheists.
Nope. And even and that's the thing. You're not gonna find a video of him yelling at the other person or cursing at the other person. You're just not gonna find that video. There's a lot of other debaters out there that ain't gonna be as, let's just say, cordial as he was or respectful. They'll just tell you how it is. Um, so yeah, it's you know yeah, he was a very Christian man, and I tell people all the time, it's like, he was more of a Christian man. I'm kind of more of I guess you would say, like we talked about earlier, spiritual. I believe in God and all like that. But that to me, still, in a way, he had some programming too, like in the religious faith. I believe, because we all deal with it, programming one way or another.
Yeah.
Um, because
Well,
this
Greg Braden says that about 200,000 years ago, our DNA was changed, and what was changed, it was a chromosome, and so the chromosomes basically always went like this, and then they split apart, and then the tops of them got cut off, but then again, eventually they merged, and they truly are trying to define that one particular chromosome is what happened 200,000 years ago or so. I think that's a date. Is that when God infused all the new human beings with his essences within him, and that's what we carry today. And I want to believe that more than anything. So when people sit there and say, "Well, I'm a Christian man," and that's all great and dandy and everything like that, but I truly believe that we all have it in us, and we are all one, and we're all connected. And there's people out there that are going to continue to hurt. So Hugs MB out there says, okay, the students were taught what to think, not how to think critically by asking questions. That is perfect. And
Yep.
then it goes on to say, Charlie role was to encourage the healthy conversations instead of the debates with talking points. He was also groomed to that. He just didn't appear out of nowhere and then disappear out of nowhere. That was part of, if you want to call it, the plan. And I'm sure somebody's got some decode out there on that.
Right. Well, how many kids come out straight out of high school and then go into like the political side? I mean, even though he wasn't technically, he was still involved in it, right? But come on, he wasn't like a senator, right? But he still had pull in getting people elected, right? So technically, he was in that political realm. But right
Oh
out of
yeah,
high school, he was doing interviews.
yeah,
At 18 years old, you're on. I forgot but he was 18 years old out of high school and he was on TV.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, he had a handler, right? And his wife had a handler, and whatever it is that you want to believe. But it was just kind of like truthers. They make that exit from the public. He had to make that exit from the public because, and so we'll see how this is actually all going to be played out. And we'll find out in time where this all stemmed from. But if people have an inkling of it, just go with your own inkling. That's your truth, and so be it. All right, let's see
Start
here.
trusting your gut more often. Trust your own intuition.
Yeah, that's what I said. Right after that happened, I said, whatever you first thought, just stay with that thought because I've seen people dissect his videos a million different ways, and all of them
Yeah.
kind of sound like what the hell was
Now
that?
nowadays, you can doctor all these videos that come out easily. So it's hard to trust what you see on the videos that they put out. They
Yeah.
put out they put out these videos and make you like even more confused.
Well, that goes back to the reality. That goes back to the programming that happened within television. So the television has changed somewhat, and then the reality that they want you to believe. But now it's just like, do I decide that the television is telling me the truth, or am I going to decide that my intuition is telling me something else? And I'm going to sit and wait on this one and see if it comes up with what I'm actually feeling, knowing, sensing, and believing.
Yep. I'm looking at this thing. This is I posted this in the meeting the other day on the board.
Wait, let me get in there and where is Buckshot? Hold on, Bug.
Starve. The quote is starve your distractions and feed your discipline, because that's what everything is nowadays. Is everything's a fucking distraction, and as long as you're disciplined in not getting involved in those distractions, you'll be okay.
Yeah, definitely. So this is kind of, I didn't see anybody out there that actually wanted a reading on anything, and I'm glad everyone is doing really good. I think there was a major shift, and I do believe that, and I think people are feeling really, really strong and feeling really good about everything. And you've got a fan out there, Hug MB says, love it, Buck. Exactly. Turn off the noise. Yeah, definitely. And if we don't turn off the noise, we just don't even know that we're being reactive. So if you're sitting there all day long, just moving and moving and moving, like there are certain things that I will follow, and then maybe say 10 minutes go by, and I'm like, oh shit, they got me again, right? So I'm like, close down. Sometimes I just turn the phone off. I just turn it off and I push it away. It's almost like, it's like overeating, right? You got to basically say
Yeah,
enough is enough. Push it
because
away.
it's like you see this dumb comment and you're like, I really want to respond to this person. Then you sit there and it's like you start to type it out and it's just like, nah, I'm not wasting my. And then it's just like you said, 10 minutes later, it's like you're sitting there debating, should I send it? Should I not send it? And then eventually it's just like, I'm not wasting my time, because then they're going to come back with some other stupid comment, and it's just more energy wasted that I don't need.
Yeah. All right. So now that we know what has been actually going on and everybody's feeling really good, there was a major shift out there. Excuse me. I got to make sure I put my cards here, right? I am going to do a collective reading. This will be for, I'm just going to pull it without, giving it a timeline, because, time is an illusion.
Yep.
And so let's just see what we get at this particular moment for what is happening out there. And, Buck, this kind of goes back to you have to stay away from the distractions, and even the distraction of people decoding out there. That is a distraction from you. It's like, okay, I thought that the sky was blue, but this guy over here is going to convince me that it's orange. But I want to hear what he's saying, even though I don't believe it. But why waste your time and energy in that? What is the hook that's got you to want to know something what somebody else is thinking when you know better? I hope I said that right. All right.
Well, it's like it comes back to being told. You want to be told told what to do, like what to think in a way.
Yeah.
People
All
are
right.
still looking outside themselves by like heeding on every word some of these supposedly influencers say.
All right, so the first row that I'm going to put down, I put down 4 rows for the collective consciousness, because it starts out with the foundation of things. And right now, the foundation of this is there's going to be more people being more aware of these children that are out there. There's more stories that are coming out or will be coming out. I don't know if there's been any out there recently, but when I actually see Archangel Michael holding a child, that just tells me that we're on track to learn more about so if everybody else is watching all this other stuff that's going on over there, what is actually happening over here, is that they're probably saving a lot more of these children out there. And that's a beautiful thing. And so, yeah, it definitely is. So they're basically telling us to kind of be prepared for this right now. It is going to be a huge spiritual shift on all levels, because we know how children affect it and touch our heart, just like anything out there. So that's for the first row. My second row that I'm going into is yeah. So Buck, so there it's really interesting, Buck, because you're talking about people, you know you could diversify all that you want, but that is only going to add to more chaos, right? It's, the more that you actually open up more news stories or whatever it is that you're opening up out there, and there's going to be a lot more plays out there. There's going to be more communication around certain things that are going to be coming up. And I actually do believe that there's a certain chess move that's going to throw everybody. They're not going to understand it. Just to say, for example, there's what is out there right now, and we know that it's bullshit, is that there's this official White House letter out there that Trump took the shots, right? And
Yeah.
so, what is all that about? So that's a chess move. That was a certain chess move that was happened, but it's also part of the illusion. I do believe that's coming up, and so people are going to be very upset by that, and that's what's coming up. Along with this, when we talk about, well, okay, well, let me just not pay attention to a lot of that stuff and watch this all being played out. And that's it's going to throw more people if it hasn't already, because this story came out a couple days ago, I believe, maybe yesterday or something like that. And they're showing me that people are not in balance with this information. So one more row here of all this and see what I get. Yeah, definitely. So the searching that everyone is actually going to be doing is they're looking at this and they're just saying, you know what, with this effect of this children and what these stories are going to be coming up, and I think this is going to be happening throughout the week. That's what I'm kind of sensing here, is that a lot of people are going to be taking a look at this, and they're going to be. It's almost as if Buck, the information that's going to be coming out on all of this here is almost going to be the I don't it's the Ark of the Covenant is what they're basically telling me here, which means that this is going to be their huge story is coming along on this here right now, and how people are actually going to react. They're going to be holding their kids a little bit closer. They're going to be keeping an eye on things a lot more. And just to end this one here, yeah. So I think that what's going to actually happen here with all, and it ends with more children. There's more the story throughout this week. It ends with more children's stories out there, is that a lot of people who have been feeling lost are now all of a sudden going to realize that that it's all been a big, the reality is not their truth. Let me just say it that way. Whatever they were thinking of their reality was, it's almost as if they're going to say, it's almost like they look in the mirror and then the mirror will shatter. They'll see something completely different based around whatever story is coming up here real soon. And so this is actually going to be, this is actually, they're talking about it being written in the Akashics as we speak right now. So this is something that's not fully out there right now. And I don't know, Buck, have you heard any big stories about the children?
Not much about the children. From some of the people that I align with, say some of it, a lot of it's cleaned up already, but still not the news of it is out. Um, you
Well,
know what?
that's
Like,
what a lot of this has been, is they've held back on all these stories until now.
yeah, the Epstein, right? The Epstein list, it's kind of out, but not fully out, right? As far as so that's going to be the hardest thing for people to swallow, though, right? Because that's that the fact that that everybody want to push their head in, put their head in the sand. They know what happens, but if I don't see it, it's like it's not happening type of deal, right? Their heads in the sand. So it could maybe some information is going to be coming out on that. On
Well,
that.
Hug MB out there says 109 were rescued in Dallas, Texas, with 240 traffickers arrested. When did that happen, Hug? When did that happen? So they're just bringing the story to light now. I don't know. When you talk about, if you talk about the dumbs, yeah, maybe the dumbs have been cleaned up, but there's a lot of other places now. Like Trump was sitting there talking about when he did his thing saying he's going to Gaza and he's going, he's flying out there. And he was actually talking about a lot of these people were kept alive underground with a certain way that they kept them alive, like they basically would shoot tubes down there to give them oxygen to keep them alive. Maybe that's more of these other stories, but the children, how many children were held down there? I have no idea.
Or even killed in Gaza, right? There was no numbers really. and we don't know what to believe, right?
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
MB
we
says the story in Dallas came out last week. And it's funny that that didn't. It's not funny. Yeah, I shouldn't say it that way. It didn't get on the mainstream media because I didn't hear about that. I think there's more stuff that's because of if it's peace now. I think we're going to start getting more of these stories of the trafficked kids and where they actually went and all this other stuff. And I think that is what is going to shake everybody to the core. I honestly believe that. We've been waiting for this. We've been waiting for those stories to come out. We've all seen stuff out on Telegram or the black internet, whatever it is that you want to call it. We saw some of the really nasty shit, but I think there's stuff that's bigger than this, the ring itself and how wide it goes, right? And maybe it's part of it was connected to our country in DC and it goes out to other countries. I have no idea.
mm, we know what's
Gene,
happening.
Gene
We know what
Decode
happened
always
in
talked
Ukraine.
about that it was cleaned up. I don't know if I believe that as much.
I don't know. Nobody, no. I mean, it's guess, right? We could. Let's just say we can manifest it being cleaned, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because we can, but we have to know, right? Just like I
Mhm.
think you're saying is that we have to, you can't just go in and clean up something and not let people know how traumatic it was and how many of these children were actually lost or adults, whatever it might be. I should be careful what I'm saying here. I'm on YouTube. But yeah,
It's
I
for
just,
entertainment purposes.
yeah, entertainment purposes only, right? So let's see here. That's all that I have, Buck, unless you want to share anything else.
No, I don't. I don't have anything really to share myself. You know, I just say, like I said earlier, to avoid the distractions. Just stay positive, be a positive influence for others, continue to be that lighthouse. And be there. And just help out when you can.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that have to go through their own shit,
Yeah.
and as much as we love all of our family and friends, there's only sometimes we just have to witness it, and as hard as that can be. And I'm actually learning that myself. That I was just having this conversation with my friend today. You get to a certain point that you just you can't say anything. You can't because if you tell somebody to go in a certain direction and they make that choice, is because you influenced it. So I think we're all learning that is that you just basically just lay it out and let people know that you're there for them. And whatever decision that they make is what they made at that particular time, right?
Yep. Live in the moment. Don't have any regrets. And have fun.
Yeah. Thank you, Buck, for being here. Let's see here. MB is our second co-host here with us. Says, great show, Janine and Buck. Love hanging out with all of you souls of sorcerers. You're beautiful from the inside. They're talking to you, Buck, and they love you all so much. And rest well. So yeah, Buck, you've got a lot of love coming your way, and I wanted to do a show with just you because I know that a lot of times when there's a round table, things get taken one way and then another direction. But I love hearing from you, and I know that you've got a lot of insight, and thanks for sharing it with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for everyone being here, and thank you for having me, Janine, as always.
Yeah. That's good conversation. All right, everybody. Good
Yeah.
night and have a good
Good
evening
night.
and
Love you
blessings.
all.
God bless you all. Bye now.
Have a great week.